Hey Broncos Country, the 2026 NFL schedule is out, and if you're looking at the first 6 weeks, you're probably thinking one thing, and it's oof, it's a gauntlet. But hold up, this Denver team is stacked, one of the most complete rosters in the league, and Bo Nix has been owning the NFC. Today we're breaking down the tough opening stretch, the overall strength of schedule, and why Broncos fans should actually feel pretty good about where we're headed. Let's dive in. What is up, Broncos Country? Welcome back to the Denver Trav Show. My name is Trav. The first big picture is Denver's 2026 strength of schedule. It lands right around the middle of the pack, about the 15th toughest based on 2025 opponent win percentages, which isn't the easiest, but far from the hardest. NFL.com even called it one of the more favorable 17-game slates, because a lot of those tough opponents got to come to the Mile High, where the altitude will be the Broncos' secret weapon. After an AFC West title and a 14-3 season in 2025, the Broncos have continuity on both sides of the ball. Elite talent at key spots, and a quarterback who's only getting better. This roster isn't just good, it's complete. A strong offensive line, playmakers on offense, a defense that can stifle anyone. That sets Denver up perfectly to handle a front-loaded schedule. Let's dive into the first 6 weeks of this schedule. Week 1, Denver will go to Kansas City on Monday Night Football, open up on the road against the Chiefs during prime time, which is always tough, but the way Denver's been playing lately, this is a statement game, could be a revenge factor for the Broncos. Bo Nix under the lights, this is a game that everyone should be excited for. And another thing to just keep in mind, even if Patrick Mahomes plays, Patrick Mahomes is coming off of a very serious injury, and if he doesn't have the mobility in week 1, Denver's pass rush is going to get after him. If he doesn't play, we know who Justin Fields is. He's not going to win the Chiefs that game in week 1. So Denver is sitting in a pretty good spot going on the road against the Chiefs in week 1, because this could settle the division down the road, and getting to play this game early is something that Bronco fans should be excited about. Let's talk about week 2 versus the Jacksonville Jags at home. Home against the Jags, this feels like one of the more winnable games out of the early slate. Jacksonville made the playoffs last year, but coming to Denver in September, the Broncos should be able to handle business. The crowd's going to be rocking. Also, if you ask me personally, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars did get worse this offseason heading into the 2026 season. Let me know what you think about the Jags in the comments below. Week 3 on primetime, Sunday Night Football against the Rams, national audience. This is a showcase game. Sean Payton's squad versus a loaded LA team. At Mile High at night, expect fireworks and a Denver Broncos win here. I know everybody's going to say, well, the Rams are one of the most loaded teams in the NFC. Well, the Broncos are the most loaded team in the AFC. This could be a game of the year caliber game. You're talking about Puka Nacua versus PS2. You're talking about Matt Stafford versus Bo Nix. Sean McVay versus Sean Payton. This is a game that's going to be absolute cinema. For a cross-country trip to face the Niners, a tough environment, but if our defense travels well, I think we can slow down that offense. There are some marquee matchups here. Mike Evans versus PS2. You're talking about Brock Purdy versus Bo Nix. Kyle Shanahan versus Sean Payton. This could be a really good game. I just hope that the 49ers are healthy in week 4. That way we can play a completely healthy Niners team, and we're not playing backups, because that would just make this game kind of boring. It would give the Broncos the edge, but that's not the type of football that I like to watch. I want to see a fully healthy Niners team versus a fully healthy Broncos team in week 4. I think it would be a marquee matchup. Back-to-back road games in SoCal against the Chargers, a divisional rivalry, always physical, but our roster depth, we should be fresh enough to compete in this game. And after what the Chargers media team did to Bo Nix in that video, I think the Broncos could end up sweeping the LA Chargers in the 2026 season. Home Thursday Night Football against the defending Super Bowl champions. It's a short week, but Empower Field at Mile High on a Thursday. The 12th man, well, Broncos fans will be electric. Seattle's good, but we're a better team at home, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is another one of those games where it looks like it's going to be a game of the year type of game. I will say Seattle did get worse this offseason compared to Denver. Denver kept their team, added pieces. I think Seattle did get a little bit worse, losing Kenneth Walker, Tariq Woolen, and other guys off of this defense, Kobe Bryant. So we'll have to see what Seattle's looking like heading into week 6. 5 playoff teams from last year plus the Chiefs in the first 6 weeks. It's brutal, but playing playing 4 of those 6 at home or an in-division game. That's huge. Survive the stretch around 500 or better, and the rest of the schedule opens up nicely with a bye week in week 10 and some softer spots later in the year. Now the fun part, Bo Nix actually owns the NFC, a career record against the NFC teams, 9-1. His only loss came in his very first NFL start as a rookie. Since then, 9 straight wins, elite efficiency, around 66% completion percentage, 2,500 plus passing yards, 19 touchdowns, and only 4 picks. And that's a 97.8 passer rating in those games. At home against NFC foes, he's 5-0 and unstoppable. This year we face the entire NFC West. We play the Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, plus the Panthers and Cardinals. Those NFC West games are in the first 6 weeks, and Bo's track record says he's going to feast. Whether it's a surgical passing or extending plays with his legs, Nix elevates this offense against NFC defenses. Broncos fans, this is why we should feel confident even in the tough slate. The bottom line is it may be a tough start. Yeah, but this complete roster is built for contention. Elite QB play from Nix, a defense that flies around, weapons everywhere, home field advantage in key spots, strength of schedule is manageable, and that early gauntlet could be perfect for a tone setter for a deep playoff run. If we come out of the first 6 weeks 4-2 or even 3-3, watch out, the Broncos could be true Super Bowl contenders in 2026. And Bronco fans aren't the only ones thinking that the Broncos could be the best team in football. Fox Sports writer put out post-schedule release power rankings. He has the Broncos as the #1 team in the NFL. NFL Fox Sports writer Henry McKenna even put out a way too early playoff bracket for the seeds, and he put the Denver Broncos at the 1 seed in the AFC. So this just kind of proves to everybody that's hating on the Broncos right now, saying they're going to have a negative record, they're not going to be a good football team. You're out of your mind. The Broncos have one of the most complete rosters in the NFL. And personally, in my opinion, the Broncos have the most complete roster in the AFC, and guess who has the most complete roster in the NFC? The LA Rams. I think both of these teams are absolutely loaded. However, Henry McKenna put the Niners as the 1 seed and the Broncos as the 1 seed, which would be interesting to see the Niners and Broncos end up in the Super Bowl this year in 2026 and watch an absolute classic game. Niners-Broncos, 2 teams that are historically known for winning in the NFL. It would be exciting. And remember, Broncos country, this team is the real deal. That's why the national media is finally giving us the respect that we deserve. What do you think, Broncos country? Can we go 4-2 or better in this stretch? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're hyped for Bo Nix and this roster, and subscribe for more Broncos breakdowns. And remember, before you leave, like, comment, subscribe, hit that hype button. It helps recommend me to more Bronco fans just like yourself. And before you leave, remember to say, go Broncos.